So welcome to part 2. So what I've done is I have adjusted the intercooler up. Why I've done this is I took the two intake pipes off it, disconnected them in the corners here, down here, and then what I've done then is I've undone the two hoses, tipped it back, tightened those up so it's basically backered up. And what I'm going to have to do is basically cut the hose, the metal pipe what's around the corner, cut it so that it's shorter, so that it doesn't, so it goes further back. So I've solved that problem. So now all what's stopping this lining up now is the headlight. This, you have two tabs here, a tab there, a tab there, which you drill a hole in to go for the two studs. Well, on this you've got a full piece right across, and what's happening is, if you can see right down there, the headlight bucket is here basically, and the headlight bucket, if we could try and mark it, is preventing it from going back. So basically what I've got to do is cut a bit out here so that it can go round the headlight bucket, and the same on this side as well. So the headlight bucket's there, so it needs to go around that, but it needs to still have a bit for this tab. So I think I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to measure the tab and cut it so that it's only as far as the tab on there. That's what I've got to do. So it's, this bit here is too deep at the moment, so the excess is catching the headlight bucket. If I chop it down so that it's just enough to cover the tab, what's on here, and no more, then it shouldn't interfere with the headlight bucket, and then we should be able to get this closer up and hopefully get the fitment of that and that on both sides. And then once we've done that, we're going to take the bar from in here and we're going to line the bar up with this already bolted on this side and this side. We're going to line the bar up so that then the bar will be in the middle, and then we're going to put our holes through like that. So as I was saying, to get the intercooler to go back, what I did was I loosened up this on both sides so that it can kind of pivot like that, and then this hose here, I've taken that piece out, and then I've loosened that and bent this back as far as it'll go there. So then there's a metal bit here which originally went round and like that, but obviously this is back here now. So what I need to do, this obviously will go back a little bit. It's probably easier to see on the other side. So obviously we've got a different bend now. So if we go back into the car where we put the metalwork, we've got these two bits here which have came off. So what I'm going to have to do is, I can't remember which come off which side, but I'm going to put that back in there, and obviously you'll see it's coming back further than there, look. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to line it up there like so. Then we're going to mark that, and we're going to chop this off here, so that what we've done is then we've shifted all the pipe work backwards, which has allowed us to tip the intercooler backwards, which means it doesn't interfere with the mouth in the front of the bumper, which means I don't need to trim any out of the front of the bumper now, which is a Brucey bonus. And what we're going to have to do in here is we're going to have to manufacture a bracket out of some steel, which probably bolts on there and goes down and holds that, and the same on that side. And this oil cooler is always kind of just sat here resting on that and cable tied to that. Well, what I'm going to do is probably kind of try and incorporate that into the same thing. Anyway, it's raining, so what I'm going to do is put the original bumper back on for now and the headlight cover back on for now, and then reconvene when the weather lets me. Well, it's the next morning. It's been pissing it down overnight, but we're back on it. What I need to do is I've just loosened up that and that to give the intercooler a pivot point. I've already done that, but I've just double checking it's as far back as it's going before we start cutting pipes for here. So obviously this can only go back as far, tip back as far as this is going to allow it to tip back, because obviously this is here. So we're just going to, yeah, last check, push it back as far as it can, tighten these up, and then I'm going to have to cut pipes for around here. What I've decided I'm going to do here is I've got a piece of aluminium bar, angle bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it for here, because I originally got it, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the new bumper. I'm going to basically cut a piece here and put it underneath there as kind of a big massive washer. So I've got enough to do that side of the new bumper, and also just about to make it across here. And then obviously what I'll do is notch a bit out here, notch a bit out here, so it goes over, and I'll have to notch a bit out of there. And then what I'll have is a bar there, and then this here is almost below that, and so are these. So then what I could do is make some kind of straps that come down from there, down there, down there, and down there to hold the intercooler and the oil cooler. So this has gone back, so see the end of the chassis rail there, that's pretty much in line with the front of that on both sides. Previously this would have been in line of there, so it's basically gone back about that much at the top and very slightly at the bottom, but well, the bottom's not moved specifically because it's pivoted on it, but the sort of bottom bit here, which was interfering with the bump, has obviously gone back very slightly, and this bit here has gone back considerably, so it doesn't interfere with the bumper. These here, which were also interfere with the well, with this bit of the bumper on the new bumper, well, now hopefully we can cut a pipe just to get it right. It's trouble, it's going to be very tight. I'll have to take a bit out of that bit as well. If I can get that to go back just enough so that's right back here, so it doesn't go anywhere near the bumper, that would be great. So I'm going to have to cut both those bits. Whereas this one I could get away with cutting one bit. So we're just eyeing it up. Obviously I'll push that down, alright, to get the overlap. So if that goes about there, the pipe joins about there, so I need to cut that one about there, and probably make a couple of adjustments to a couple of the bolts there to get it to angle right. And then if we go around to the side, this one's a bit more awkward. This one here, I reckon if I cut that one about there, I think obviously this is a temporary solution. The permanent solution, once all the bumpers on and the car's all back and running, is to basically make a template of round there to there for both sides and get a piece of pipe cut and then fit that, and then obviously that'll be tighter, and it also eliminate any boost leak risks with all the joins. But obviously to get it on, this is the solution for now. So what I've done is marked it up with a bit of tape, which isn't sticking very well because it's wet, and where I think I need to cut it for now. And then obviously we cut on this line here, and same on this side on this line here, which I stuck a pen in there, worked out how long that joins inside there, so it's about there. And then if we need to take a bit more off, we take a bit more off, but we can't really put any more on. So what we've got here for this, probably the wrong tool for the job, but it's the tool I've got. Chop saw, sliding mitre chop saw, gloves, safety glasses. We're going off for this up now to the car. Now what I did do, which you probably can't see, I wrote on this driver, which means it goes on this side of the car, the driver's side. And look at that, fits nice and tight. Gonna make a slight adjustment up there somewhere so that this will go like that, but other than that that's kind of okay for now. We'll see whether the bumper fits around it once we've got them all cut. So that's on, tightened up, and then the Jubilee clip here because that one just keeps turning. Very slight angle here, but the clip's tight. But I think what I need to do to correct that is that needs to go, so I need to take off a little bit off that bit there. But that bit's pretty much on a bend, so it might be a bit awkward. So I'll just leave it as it is for now, but if needs be I might need to take that off. But as I say, in the future have a bit of pipe made like that which fits from a template much better. So also this side in now, that goes in quite a lot there, so it's very straight where the Jubilee clip is. So obviously there's a bend here, but that's overlapping quite a lot. Fit in there, as I said, very slight angle coming this way. That probably needs to go in, but as I say, we're going to make a pipe there eventually anyway. So now all that's on, moment of truth before we try and fit the bumper, because we've had the intercooler pipes off, and obviously if you don't put them back on properly you get a boost leak, and if you get a boost leak, carburetor shit or doesn't start, one or the other. So we're on, we're running. Can't feel any air. And it ain't stalled, so I think we're good. Well, we're not up to temperature, but everything's running alright. The boost gauge is moving up. It's not moving a lot because we're not going to give it many revs because we're annoying neighbours. But yeah, it's kind of working. So we lined the bumper back up. As I said before, I've still got a bit of a problem here with the headlight bucket interfering with the tabs because the tabs are a bit too big. So obviously to get this up properly, you have to mark up how far I've got to cut off the tabs and cut the tabs on both sides. But obviously before that, the more important thing what we was trying to sort out first was the intercooler. Well, now got a good 15mm clearance here both sides, and then if you look up the top, we are definitely clear up the top now as well. Look, these pipes here also clear. I mean, previously all that was touching the bumper. Now, obviously if you look through here, this pipe here is a little bit raised above this, but this needs to go up. So when that goes up, hopefully this pipe here is going to slide inside here. Otherwise I'm going to have to get a pipe made because there ain't nowhere else for it to go. And if we go round the other side, we have got the same going on here. This pipe's slightly raised above here, needs to go inside here or over there, but it can't go over there. So this bit here will tuck behind there, and that will tuck under there when this goes up, theoretically. Anyway, it's starting to blooming rain again. So as it started to rain, I've just put the headlight cover back in, haven't secured it, so it's just covering the air filter. Put the other down, but not down properly because it won't go down until that's secured properly. Blah blah blah. We're just going to leave that resting there, and then we can go in and have a break, and hopefully then the rays can have a break, and then we'll come back out, and then we're going to have a look at what we've got to chop off here, and then get that chopped off at both sides, and then offer it back up, and then hopefully we can mark where the holes have got to be drilled. Well, the rain's fucked off, so we're back on it like one of them. So regarding the tabs catching on the headlight bucket, what I've done is taken the measurement from that corner there to about where the headlight bucket is, which is about 50mm, and then I've taken the measurement that way, and we've got just over 35, we'll call it 35 to be on the safe side clearance. And then we've gone over here, we transferred the 50mm from that corner, and then we've come down 35 and we've drawn a line across here which is going to cut this little excess off here, and the same on that side, and then we're going to see if it fits. And to do that, we've got safety glasses and we've got the Dremel. So on this side, tab's still catching, need to take a very slight amount more off it, but that's not the big deal at the moment. The big deal at the moment is this intercooler pipe. Because I push that back, it's kind of sloping up. So what I need to do is either move it, which isn't an option because there's nowhere for it to go without making a custom pipe, and I still don't think there's anywhere for it to go. So what I'm going to do, I've drawn a line here which takes nice curvature from there around there to take a bit out of this bit, and then when I've cut that out, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a template off it and flip it and stick it on the other side. So safety glasses on, we've got the Dremel again. Now what we're going to do is, like when you cut metal, is just going to score a line round first and then follow our line. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, we've followed that round, so we're going to offer that back up and see how it looks. So this here is still catching on the headlight bucket, so we're going to have to put a little curvature out of there between the two tabs, I believe. We'll work that out. But if we go down here where we cut off, I think this hopefully now is going to clear that intercooler. So all I'm going to do is cut the tab, see if we get it flush, see how that sits. If that all sits nicely, we'll get the tab on the other side, and then we'll do a template of that and transfer that over there, and then hopefully everything lines up. So what we've done to save a bit of time, we've gone over to the KBD bumper and I stuck a piece of paper on there, drew around all that, made a template, and I've stuck that on there. Right, and then basically I want to keep the structural stability of this, what's on the new bumper, so I don't want to cut out two tabs like they've got on the KDB. What I want to do is keep all that, because I don't think any of that's interfering with anything, because that's all down here where there's not a lot going on. The only thing that's interfering is that, which is kind of in this region here. So I'm thinking if I cut out half of that, basically where I scribbled it out, right here, hopefully that's going to clear that little tab, that little bit of headlight bucket what's sticking up. And if that works, I'm going to basically do the same over there. So yeah, made that cut out with the Dremel. Tabs will be here and here, hopefully. And then I've done the same here. Left a big chunk in here though for the stability. Same here. I'll take that dust off it. And we're going to offer it up and see what happens, and see what happens with that bit as well. Because if that bit works, I'm going to make a template off that, put it over there. So hopefully I'll be able to show you, because this is pretty much a balancing act, because you need somebody to hold the other side at the same time and try and prop that. Should have something underneath there, but I don't. But that now does go up to that. That'll go up there. That'll follow through up to that. And if we look down here, this is just about clearing that as well. Probably need to do some work around here to get the rubber to go in there better. And obviously what I've got to do is do a template of that, transfer that over that side, and then when we got that done, I'm going to sort of try and prop the bumper on so that I can do the holes for there and there on that side. And then when we've got those holes in, we can then get these in, and then when we've got those in, we can put the centre bar in, line it up, mark where the holes are going for that, then fit that. So what I've got here is what I chopped out of down here. You know what we call that? We call that a flip it over and put it in here and draw around it, and it makes a template as to what we want to cut out. So we used a template, we've taken off the offcut of that side, flipped it over, and then I put it on here, and it basically traced it on there, and now we're going to cut that out with a Dremel. So there you go, job done, all finished. Not really. Now what we've done is we kind of aligned it, taped it in a rough position so that we align the other side without it dropping off. Tape that a rough position, that needs to come up a bit. It will come up a bit, but the tape doesn't hold it where it's supposed to be, but obviously bolts do. What we used here is the lights out of there to prop it on, and we got this here, stop it, drop it for coming forward. So what we need to do now is mark where the holes are going, but at the moment just these two here and these two here, and then we'll get those in, and then we can sort these ones out and these ones, and then when we've done that, we'll sort all this lot out in here. What we're going to do now is start the car up, and hope the bumper don't fall off, and we're going to put it on full log, and we're going to go that way, I think, for this side, which then should give plenty of access in here. Oh, I've got a little turbo key for my turbo car. And what we've got here is some cheap toothpaste from Lidl, because you should always clean your teeth, but also it's very useful for other stuff. And we've got a little bolt here as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the lid off the toothpaste, and we're going to put some toothpaste on the end of the bolt, right, like so. Put plenty on, like that. Now we've got a little bolt here with toothpaste on the end. Now toothpaste, white, frog tape, green, right, so white and green's going to leave a little mark. So what you've got here is you've got this first hole here, so what you've got to try and do is poke this through the hole, hopefully not get too much toothpaste off it, and then line it up straight, push it down. With this here has got to sit flush as well, so make sure this is all flush on this end here, look here, and you push that down, twist it around a little bit, and that should hopefully make a white mark where we want the bolt to be. so we've got more toothpaste on it, and what there is here, right about here, there's another little bolt what should go in there. So what we've got to do is we've got to reach in there with this, find that, and at the same time come on the outside and push that flush and put another little mark on. So what we're doing is we're going in here, we're going to try and find this little hole thing. Here it is. We've got a little bolt in there ready, and then what we're going to do is push that flush, push that down, twist it about, and out we come. Now if we peel our bits of tape off here, should be able to pull this out and have a look, and what you can see there, only just, you see the two little toothpaste markings. That's where we're going to have to drill the holes. Now toothpaste was one way, but just to be on the sure side, what I've found is a self tapper screw. So obviously it's got a bit of a point to it, yeah, a bit sharp, and obviously I've got the green tape on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that through the middle of the hole, and I'm going to find out roughly where I want to be without losing it. Like so, and I'm going to make sure this is flush at the side here. And I'm going to push down with my tapper screw, and I'm going to get a couple of turns as well. Now I'm going to pull that out. So hopefully that will have left a pokey mark, fingers crossed. And then we're going to move around the front, same again, push that flush, go in there with a tapper, push it down, make a mark. So scrap the toothpaste, scrap the bolt, didn't work. What I've done is I've run a bit of tape upside down, slightly overlapping here, as you'll see. And then what I've done is I've drawn a line along the overlap, mark where it bends up, do a little cut there to mark the end there. And then what I've done is I've gone underneath, and I've basically, you can't see it because it's dark, poked the hole in the tape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off and then stick it on there the other way around. So yep, transferred the template from the wing over here, or fender, over here, and there's the one hole, there's the other hole, and we're going to drill those with a smaller drill bit and then a bigger one. So bang in the middle. Takes a little while to get going. And we're through. And bang in the middle of this one. Now what we'll do is we're going to change for a bigger drill bit. that up a bit. And then we're going to get the next side up. I'm going to leave it at that for now and see how we get on. So I'm going to take the template tape off this end anyway. See how it looks. So we're going to leave that on because got to do those once we've got those mounted up. I'm going to leave this bit on in case we need to do any changes. So we're going to go and do the same for the to the side and put that on there. So holes drilled both that side and that side, and what we've done is take some measurements as well. So from the edge there to the centre of that, 20 mil, 20 mil. There at that angle, 20 mil. So if we go here, 20 mil, 20 mil, 20 mil. And then we took this, which is awkward to get because the tape's a pain in the backside. So if you get tape in the right place, centre to there, it's basically 19.5. And centre of there, 19.5. So next, I have this. Some aluminium and angle, and the intention is I'm going to put a bit in here underneath and drill 2 holes through it, and then the same over this side. But that was the original plan, so I brought a metre of it, and obviously a metre of it's enough for that. But then we've had to move this intercooler, which wasn't on the original plan, and we now need to mount that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of this, put it across there, going to notch it out on the 2 ends so that it could sit over there and bolt on, and I'm going to have to notch it out in the middle here because obviously that's going to be an issue. And then we're going to see what we got left, which is basically that, chop that in half, and hopefully that's enough to make those 2 pieces over there. So measuring tape first. So we've got tape on here, and across here it's basically 50. So we're going to cut a piece off at 50 and put that to one side for later. So we're at the chop saw. Got a piece of aluminium angle marked off 50. Shove the blade down there, make sure we're on the marker. Straighten the edge on that because it slid in under there and went a bit funny. Obviously we're wearing gloves, safety glasses because metal sparks off everywhere. So back at the car, that's pretty much 50. It's got enough overlap to go to the bolts anyway. Obviously we're going to have to do some work on that to make it fit there, to make it fit on the 2 ends, but that's for later. So that could go in the later pile. like so. And then what we need to do is take this over there and measure up for the two side pieces. So I've got 50 left on there because it was a metre and I've got 50 off. And these up here, up to where it starts bending up, that's 24. So that is perfect. I'll chop that, 2 24s, and I'll have 2 centimetres left. So this time I'm going to put it this way so it doesn't slip underneath it. I'm going to line the blade up. Blade lined up with that. We've got 2 24 lengths. Just there. Perfect. So as you'll see, this has got a angle on it, and the fiberglass has got a thickness to it, so this here is not going to go all the way up there, and obviously we want this bit here to line up with that bit. So what we need to do is either chop a bit off it or do some fancy shit this end. Now we're going to try and do the fancy shit this end because we want to. So what we need to do is find the curve point there, so that's where it needs to be, like so, and then we're going to get that on there. Probably move it back a little bit like that, so allow for the thickness, and we're just going to go underneath it and draw a line for the bit we need to chop off. We're just going to trace the underneath bit. We're going to allow 2 or 3 mil for the thickness of that as well, so we're just going to draw a line across here, and then we're going to chop that off with the angle grinder or something like that, and then see if it fits. So what we've done, we put both of them in the vise, so we could do them both at the same time. Obviously they're not overlapping each other because that would be stupid. So we've got this one this side, that one that side. Obviously there's the overlap here, so it's not anywhere near where we're chopping off. Same with this bit here. And then what we've got is the angle grinder with the cutting disc on it, and we've got the guard on it because we're sensible. And we've got those and those. There you have it. They can be warm. Yep, they are warm. I've got 2 bits with the bits cut off the end. I've labelled them left and right, so I know which one's which. We're going to see if they fit. Basically, it doesn't fit just yet because what it didn't account for is this bit here is sort of on an angle as well. So what we're going to do is just cut a bit off like that on both of them. We took that bit off, and one side fitted better than the other, but what it is a build up in the corner of the fiberglass. So basically we're going to take a little triangular bit off each of them there, and then it will fit in nice and flush. So what we're going to do We're just going to hold it in here for now, and we're going to mark with the drill bit hopefully anyway. Look, yeah, so you can see very small point there, so we can go stick that in the vise and drill the holes in it, and we'll just do the other side and then we'll go and do that. To start off, I've already done 3 pilot holes. So doing a pilot hole with a smaller drill bit, so you put your little pin in the hole you've made already, get a little bit of metal what's hanging on the end of it off, so that's your starting point. And it takes ages to get the hole going, but if you go in a circular motion like this, it sort of scrapes into the metal round it. And then you snap your drill bit. So, got a new drill bit in, because we snapped the last one, which is a slightly bigger one, but we're going to go up to that size anyway. If you wag it around, it gets rid of all the burrs. Spin that round, and we're going to elongate this hole. There we go, swap that up to the bigger size. And further elongate the holes. This one here is rather close to the edge, but it's just acting as a big washer. This piece of metal is underneath the fiberglass. So if we are on the edge, it's a deal. And now we're just going to do the same process with the other piece. So now we get this, and we put it in here, and hole and hole. I had to do a little bit of extra work on the end of this one to make it fit, because there's a bit of fiberglass build up in there. Whereas this one, straight in, hole, hole, fits like a sort of a glove, what's made of aluminium. So what we have here is a bumper that's held on with some frog tape, and it's not quite as on as it was before because it's a 2-person job. Some nuts and bolts and the metal things, wish me luck. So it's sort of on. I had to elongate the holes. The distance between the 2 holes is correct, but they were basically slightly more this way and need to go about 5mm that way. So basically I've elongated them all about 5mm in that direction and 5mm in that direction. But obviously the metal underneath, which isn't in there at the moment, will slide the holes to wherever the bolts position, but the bolts playing the backside to get in. At the moment the bolts have got too short, so they're kind of in there, but they're just checking that it lines up. I'm not going to do these studs yet, because probably easier to show on this side. So if we look down here, the hang it will go up, but what I think I need to do is I need to do some kind of shaping in this bit here. That probably needs to come more down like that, so that it can sit up flush. So the next stage, although we're not going to get it lined up that way, we're going to get it lined up this way, is to get the bar out of here, and then get the bar in the middle of there, so at least we know where the middle is. But then the actual line up that way will happen once we sorted out the body working on the corners there, and then we'll be able to bolt it in position there. So Nissan, what you've got is several 10mm. For me, it's 3, one there, one there, one there. So I've taken 2 out, so I'm just going to take the 10mm out. Now what's going to happen is this bit of metal what's on the front here, or back here, but front to us, that is basically going through the holes what we've drilled in the bumper, and it's clamping this bar in behind, and this bar here's got this little pin thing in the middle there, look. Right, what I need to do is take that off, like so. A few things what we've got to do. First of all, this little locator thing here is actually a pain in the ass. We don't need that, so what we're going to do is we're going to get this angle grinder, we're going to take that off. Yep, see, all gone. And the next bit, we don't need all this, we just need up to here. So we're going to stick it in there and get rid of this bit off both ends. So if we take our 2 bits of metal work and we put that on top of that, and we line it up so that the little bit we sheared off there lines up with the hole, and all the threads line up with the holes, you'll see that the edge of this little welded on plate thing sits pretty flush with the curvature of the bracket, and the same on the other side. So basically, if I put that and that equal distance from here and here, then this will be in the middle. And what I've done is I've put some green frog tape on here. I'm gonna slide this in, the little foldy, the sort of 45-degree bit goes on the top because it's kind of curved in a fashion. So we're going to try and slide that in there underneath the air filter and whatnot. So that's kind of in there. I'm going to try and get, because the bumper's kind of bolted on now, so we don't want to be taking that off at the moment. So try and get these so that go back there, yeah, Peter. Okay. Right, so we'll try and get that there. So that one there's probably about just under 10mm, and that one there's not far off the same, so we'll just move that there. So that and that are pretty similar. I did go up because there's a bit of rubber and the light like that, that's the problem. So that there and that there are pretty similar in distance. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab a pin and I'm just going to mark these holes, and then we're going to drill them. So yeah, got my bracket in what I'd established from that and that as the middle. So we're going to just get a pin and try it. The one in the middle is going to be a bit awkward here because of the lumen air filter. Right, what I'm going to try and do is get these holes. Best we can. Yep, that's not what's supposed to happen. Luckily, that's landed on the oil cooler and not fell under the car, so we could probably rescue that. Yep. Look at that. And then these ones here, awkward to get ones in the corners here. Right in the headlight bucket. Right on the edge of my frog tape and all. So we're going to slide this out and see if we've marked it, and we seem to have. Alright. So before I take the bolts while I'm not in properly off, to get the bumper off, as this bit here is, that's like kind of two straights what meet. This is going to go a bit of a curve to it, but it should be more like that, obviously. So what I've done is I put a piece of tape following that straight line, a piece of tape following that straight line, so then I'll know I need to sand that little bit out of there. And I've done the same around the other side as well. So I'll leave that on so we know we've got to do that. And now we're going to take the bumper off and we're going to get that bit fitted on it. So taking the bumper off, so what we've done is we put this back on, lined up the middle one and the two side ones, and then for the end ones we basically balanced it out so that, because there's a gap here and a gap here, right, and found the best fit between both of them, and then we've just circled the holes and we're now going to drill them out. So I found my medium sized drill bit because my smaller one I broke for doing the pilot holes, and I've been looking around, looking in the car, trying to find out. I've been back up to the garage trying to find out what to do with the big drill bit, but yeah, I found it. It was in the drill. So I've just done the first middle one, and then we're going to offer this up in here. Right, I'm going to put this in, and that seems to be where it wants to be. So we're going to do the rest of the holes. So all the holes drilled, time to fit the bar. So bar's back on. I only had 3 bolts in it anyway. This one lines up, this one's a little bit out, but we can re-drill that, but we're only putting the 3 in, so it doesn't matter. Now let's see if it fits on the car. So yes, it does. Obviously this here, need to put the bolts in, but if you pull it up, it lines up as it's supposed to. Need to put the bolt in there, then put the bolt in there. I think my wing's got a little bit of a bow in it anyway. And we need to do these studs. Once we've got these sorted out, I might need to elongate these holes a little bit more. Then on this side, we push that up and pull that out at the same time. Then pull that out down the back. It's a bit hard to pull everything out at the same time, but there you go. Yep, that all lines up as well. So we've got to do this little bit of body work here on both sides, and then we've got to get some longer bolts and probably chop it off the metal as well, because this corner here, getting the nut in from underneath there is going to be rather awkward. So we're going to do that. That's going to be another day. And the same on that side. We've got to take the wiring loom out of that light and stick it over there and put the bolts in there, the little fasteners for the screws to go in, but the light fits as it should. And I've got to cut, well, I've already cut this, but I've got to basically take a notch out of each side so that it'll sit over there, put some holes in it, and notch some out of the centre bit here as well, so it'll go over that. That'll all be hidden under the engine centre panel, headlight panel, if that's what they call it. Which that fits in there nicely as well. Look at that, that fits in. Now what we'll try and do is one-handedly put the hood down, bonnet if you're English. Right, so what we're going to have to do Because the headlight panels needs to come up like that. That's because the bumper's not up. Right. So now that gap's, we can adjust that gap like so, and now we've pushed the bumper up as it's supposed to be. That gap's right there as well. So if we push the bumper up here and there at the same time, gaps are just right. Now looking down here, you're going to need a little bit more come out of here, I think, for this intercooler pipe, because it's just, I mean, catching, because it's annoying like that. But when that goes in and that goes up, it's borderline. They might need to trim some out of there. We'll see. But in here now, plenty of clearance in here. Look. Anyway, gonna leave it at that for today, and there'll be a part 3 where we carry on with all the other little bits and pieces to sort this out, get it all bolted on, and then probably a part 4 when it gets painted. So I've got to put the little Allen key bolt in the headlight panel. Anyway, that's it for today. If you found this interesting, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.